Peace and blessings. This is Unplug 'em. Thank you all, especially new subscribers, for checking out the channel. This is your irregularly scheduled deprogramming, and we're gonna keep on jamming. Also, big shout out to brother KJ from Scariest Movie Ever for inviting me on this show. I had a ball. And I also saw the post that you put up yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. This is the 21st of August. We're coming into a new time. We'll touch on that too. But you showed somebody on the ground there from the hood, looked like a native from St. Louis, speaking on exactly what we had talked about, confirming it, basically, that this is indeed something being trumped up. The young brother was speaking from the heart. He was talking real talk. You can tell when somebody's talking real talk. And he explained that they're paying homeless people, giving them a couple $100s to hold up signs, talking about we want our freedom. They're also paying agent provocateurs, that's what you call people that they pay to come into an area and to geek everything up. You know, my old dude used to call it the geek up for the big letdown. In order to give a pretense for tougher martial law. We said it was going to be martial law. And, you know, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about revolution, a little taste, and we're going to talk about just a few things that I jotted down on my notepad. I didn't write them legibly enough to show y'all the notepad, so I'm going to try to the best of my ability to just go through them. And thank you all for your emails, for your comments. I'm going to try to get to the comment section today, deal with certain comments, you know, and look at some of the links that I was sent as time permits. You know, this is my job, and I really try to treat it like a job and be on from 9 to 5. Sometimes I take some days off to prepare mentally, spiritually, but you know, I would like to do this full time. You know, that would be ideal. But you know, we live in a world that's real, so we'll see. We'll see how things go with that. I am looking to do some things on my end to tighten up, to be able to provide certain things I would like to provide for the temple members. And so, you know, I need to apply myself in certain areas. And I'm doing just that, please believe it. It's very necessary. Can't do this full time without having certain resources. And, you know, that's on me. The Most High laid this mystery on my shoulders, and so I got to carry it. When you're challenged, you're going to turn, you should embrace the challenge. And through that challenge, you're going to turn into a chump or a champ. So let's, without further ado, let's look at a few things that's going on in the news. Of course, to my good nephew who sent me some information about purges supposedly going to jump off in Detroit. Well, that'll be some tough stuff. But it all relates to what we said. When I say we, you know, we operate from a particular spirit here, okay, not from a bunch of wild and random spirits that are really demons in disguise, but we operate from the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. So sometimes we see things through the same eyes, and we hear things through the same ears. We be on the same page, so that's why I say we. We talked about, in I believe it was the last video I did, the word Ferguson. We looked at the relationship to purge, and at that time I had no idea that there was purges being planned, and that there was a purge first advertised some kind of way in Kentucky. And you wonder, with all of the ways that they can catch you, if they want to catch you, how could they not catch who was behind the source of that, okay, and shut it down? Because this is part of a wider plan. The Ferguson thing is a jump off, just like the young brother said. He talked about St. Louis being the heart, okay? And, you know, we looked at some things, even in the word St. Louis. We made some relationships, and we was right on time, 100. If you watch enough of these videos, you know, my long-time viewers, they already know. When I say hear me now, believe me later, it ain't just a catchphrase. Mercy, you will believe me later, because by the will of the Creator, it's one of the giftings that I have. We've said several things that eventually ended up coming to pass. Several real things. One of the biggest and most important to me, being a Detroiter, was I saw that they was putting some kind of crosshairs on Detroit. And I said there would be some sort of sacrifice, mass sacrifice ritual, death for rebirth. It's their big thing, you know. The powers that shouldn't be, they're into that. Killing something old to make room for something new. They're into it. And I did not know that the death would be a financial one. I didn't know how it was going to go down. I saw that around that time too, the Most High was moving me around. I have a missionary ministry. Okay, I'm talking about sexual positions. I'm talking about have to be able to move around. And when he moved me at that particular time, as he did with the Atlanta move, I thought it was a permanence. Okay, so, you know, things I don't know can fill a book. But I knew that the move was relating to something that they was going to do to my fair hometown. And you know, I never I wasn't a fast kid. Strong. I wasn't fast. I'm not into running. But I am into obeying the Most High. Messiah said, who is my mother, who is my brother, but those that do the will of my Father. Okay? And that's what makes us all family here, those who choose, because you do have free will. You can do what you want to do. Do as thou wilt, Crowley. Or you can do like you should do. If you knew better, you do better. Mercy. But that was one. And of course, the planes falling. When the planes began to fall, and you know, for some of y'all, you don't want to believe in demons. It'll change your reality. You don't want to believe in Jesus. You don't want to believe in demons. But it was through a person who I was working with in my deliverance ministry, who was heavily oppressed, okay, by demonic forces that manifested in her in ways like you only see in the movies. Get it? Okay? Hate gnats. Okay, but anyway, and they told me, and then they said they didn't remember telling me. So you know who told me then, right? Okay, the other personalities that was in them. Demon spirits, okay? And yes, we spend a lot of time on that on my channel, because I try to provide something for you that you don't get on other channels. You know, lots of people do lots of things on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't mess with the regular TV or cable, for that matter. One time, cable seemed like it was a little bit better, but it's all the same. And I even find some of the same problems with YouTube now as its popularity has grown. Some of the people who I used to count on, they tripping, and it's obvious. You know. But that's all right. You know, we're gonna keep on shining our light, just the way, the truth, and the light, the one and only, the Messiah. And by His example, is what I try and often fail to live by. Okay? As long as we're in this flesh, we'll have some challenges, and that's okay. If you have external challenges, don't have too many internal challenges. Okay? The Most High can use you if your challenges are mostly external. Okay? So when you have internal challenges, you can only be used by negative forces. Okay, because you got to line up your spirit with wanting to do the will of the Most High, even when it's not your will. So with that being said, so you know, that's two. The ritual on Detroit, the Plains prophecy video with the Beastie Boys thumbnail. At least it was the Beastie Boys thumbnail. They might play with it now. But that was no fluke. I ain't no fluke out here. I just look like this. I can't help it. We talked about that on the video about what's going on in Ferguson. We talked about the fact it was relating to a purge, and then lo and behold, you get this call for nationwide purges, I believe, by agents of the quote-unquote Illuminati. And we know that's a blanket term. I know the specifics and the technical meaning of the Illuminati, the Bavarian Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, and all the rest. I'm hip to that. May 1st, 1776. But you know, that's a term that we've used to kind of cover all things New World Order, all things having to do with the demonic elite and their plots and plans. We use that term to kind of put a name on something, okay? And you know, lots of things are going on, and if you look at things with the chess eye, okay, I used to teach kids at the community center chess. Okay, I'm not a bad chess player, you know, not the best. I've been beat many times, but I can look at things with an eye for, okay, where are they trying to get me to move? That's the difference. Checkers is reactionary. You know, you react. Somebody jumped your man, or you jumped them. Checkers go fast, chess don't. That's why you see the hourglass in chess. Okay, chess takes time, strategy, strategizing, plotting, planning, plot, plan, strategize. You begin to look not only at what your next move is, how to make your next move your best move, but you also look at, well, now why are they trying to get me to move this away? Okay, what kind of jam are they trying to put me in? And you have to be able to think that way. Okay, don't think with your emotions. Okay, if you think with your emotions, you'll lose a chess game, most certainly. And that's reactionary thinking. Okay, you react. All right, some people only are good at reactionary thinking, and usually the more emotional or the more unable you are to control your emotions. The Creator gave us emotions. Okay, it's emotion, energy and motion. We've talked about it many times, but it's about you being able to control yourself. Can you control yourself? Okay. First thing they teach you as a military man, or at least they used to teach it, now they just throwing them into battle, is the same thing they teach you first when you take up a martial art. And martial, M-A-R-T-I-A-L, and martial, M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L, same word, Mars shall. It has to do with warfare and killing. Okay? Bloodshed, Mars, Aries, Mars, the ram, murder. They don't teach you how to just hurt somebody. Have mercy. Not in martial arts and not in martial law. But one of the first things they teach you about is discipline. You have to have discipline to be a disciple. Okay? To fire a rifle. To win in hand-to-hand combat. Okay? I know you've seen ghetto fights and things. People win just off their heart. That happens. shouldn't fight hard, you should fight smart. Okay? And if a person is fighting somebody that knows how to fight smart, and they fighting off sheer heart and emotion, they will lose. I've seen that too. Many times. Okay? Been the victim of it. Fighting off just mere heart. Okay? You got to be able to fight not just with all your might, but with all your mind. So, is there any good that will come out of these things, these wars in the hood? Depending on what side you looking from, okay? And on what type of eyes you're looking with. If you're looking with your emotional eyes, you emotionalized the issue, you're going to see things the wrong way. Even the Panthers, who were trained for revolution, they trained, they saw the example of soldiers who are soldiers full time. That's their job. They get paid to be soldiers. They teach them discipline first. Okay, undisciplined revolution is losing. Always will, always has. So, if you're really serious about revolution, a lot of people talk about it. Talk about it or you can be about it. If you're really serious about it, you need to understand some things about discipline. Okay? Strategy and discipline. Chess, not checkers. Okay? The police have been acting as an occupying army in the hood for I don't know how long. Okay? And I mean, NWA, F the Police came out 1988, and it's just now gotten to the point where people are ready to do something about it. Many a times you see the police doing something out of bounds, and it gets caught on camera. Don't nobody put the camera down and go handle that. Okay, so but now the media is, again, maniac, evil, devils in action. When the media is trying to get you to do something, that's not what you want to do. When you see certain people jumping out here trying to geek you up to do something, trying to force you left, okay, you fake left and go right. Okay. Make them think you fell for it. That disarms them. Then you take it the other way. But I'm not just talking the talk. I've walked the walk. Been involved in a lot of things. Okay. So when I'm saying that, I'm not saying it from a point of get down and lay down. I'm not the laying down type, and not the running type. I'm the thinking type, though. I'm the type to say, all right, act like I'm leaving the situation and then return. Mercy. But when you see all of a sudden there's this big push, okay, by people that play the role of community leaders and by the media. The media play one role. Okay, it's thesis, antithesis, synthesis, problem, reaction, solution, overplay for the underlay. Lots of ways to say it. Okay, but it's playing off of people's reactionary thinking. Okay, to react instead of act. This is all about reaction. Okay, then nobody want no action prior to this, and it's a little disingenuous and intellectually dishonest too. And I'm starting to see some YouTubers doing some strange things, saying some strange things. I believe playing their role in stirring up the bowl. Have mercy. And I'm awful honoring when I see somebody's trying to stir me up I calm down purposely. Yes, I do. You're not going to turn me up. I turn myself up. So you think about things, okay? Because like we said in the video also, it's going to be jump-offs all over. And the media, who underreports the killing of innocent people by police, usually they underreport that. They suppress that information. Now they pumping it out. Don't be game goofy. Have some game about yourself, people. Have some game about yourself. Realize real lies. You see things, you understand things, you know what's going on. Don't fall for it. You realize it and you see what's going on. Okay? Don't fall for the okie doke. You know what Ice Cube said about it. So yes, there will be a time, and you know, this is my other issue with it is this: when you're treating a disease, you can treat the symptom or you can treat the cause. Some of y'all know something about holistic health. That's why it's not certain things not adding up. I know what you know to say what you're saying. Okay, you know about holistic health. You treat the cause. You get to the cause. Now, how do you really get rid of a problem? That's how you really get rid of it. Okay. Now, will they try to appease people and take out certain dirty elements as fall guys, take them out the picture, and then say, oh, see, we got rid of the problem. When you know the solution, it goes all the way to the top. The solution is the Luciferian elite have to be took out their seat. Okay? That's the powers that be, not their peons. The puppets. They puppets. And then you see this thing with the militarization of police. It's been going on for some time. But the fact, see, things not adding up. The fact that we was told by certain sources of information, you know, came from a lot of different sources, but we were told that the Russian military was being trained alongside local police departments. Okay, if this is the case, when they got on that militarized new school RoboCop uniform, you can't see their face. I told you about RoboCop. I said what RoboCop was really about. Okay, so now they're trying to do things like the young brother from St. Louis said, and he was 100. I advise you to look at KJ's video he uploaded yesterday. It was only 2 minutes and something long. He showed a young brother. You hear enough real talk, you know it when it ain't and when it is. The young brother was talking real talk. And he told exactly what was going on. He started off just like I started off. It's a beautiful thing to see people get together and unify for a worthy cause. Okay? But then he had some game about himself, you can tell. Then he said, you know, but it's some in the gang here. He from the hood. So he spoke on it like you only could if you was from the hood. He knew that they was setting it up, a geek up for the big letdown. He was talking about how they was paying the bums to stand there with signs, and they was paying people to go into the crowd with the, he said, people that look just like us, people that got J's on. Okay? Now that they've given us a uniform, and when I say us, I'm talking to my folk right now. Okay? They've given us a uniform. We've taken the uniform. So now, in order to make it look like someone is one of you, all they got to do is have a uniform on, and you believe it. Okay? You will think, well, hey, they got to be one of us. Okay? We had more creativity and style about different things we did. And the same thing with the music. That's how they fool y'all with the fake rappers. They made a uniform or formulaic style of hip-hop. So not only can anybody and their mama do it, trained CIA agents can do it, but machines can do it. Take that same example and apply it to what's going on and what's going to be going on in major cities across America. You got to remember, they got a thing for getting the major cities cut down, see? And they figure they can deal with the small town, okay? But they figure that there's less to worry about with the small town. So once they can chop down the major city action, the major cities, you know, I can get around in Detroit, okay? I can dip, dive, so socialize in Detroit. Major cities, you know, it's not the same type of dynamic, but you can duck and dive. You can do what you need to do to survive in a major city. Okay. Now, you know, I've seen some small towns that look like to me to be awful hard to round everybody and everything up because there's a lot of space and nature to feed off of. Okay. With the major cities, my old dude used to tell me that Detroit was made like a grid. You know, when I went to Mansfield was like riding a Cedar Point roller coaster. Twists and turns in the streets. When you go someplace on the east side and you drive down Outer Drive, you'll see some of that. But for the most part, there's lots of dead one-ways on the east side. Dead ends too. But for the most part, west side, 6 Mile, 7 Mile, Finkel, Puritan, Schoolcraft, Tyron, Chicago. All these streets is going straight so far, and then they're crossed. And so all you have to do is cut off this artery on this end, 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 and you fenced in. And that's what the old dude said that they made it that way for, and he was active in the 67 riots. He's gone now, what they gonna do? He was very active. But and you know, I share the same spirit and fire. Okay, that you know, you take so much before you boil over. And, you know, I'm supposed to be under the sign of Taurus. When I boil over, I supernova. That's why I try so hard to remain calm. Okay, but again, as you're trained, when you're trained in certain arts, you're trained to keep your cool. Okay, in the midst of drama, you keep your cool. Okay, and yes, we know that there's unarmed people with their hands in the air, and the popos did not care. Again, we don't know if that's Russian military or just your garden variety demonic police out there. But they've got military vehicles and everything in effect. Okay? And yes, the police department is a brotherhood, baby. Look at all the different brotherhoods that are involved, though. When you understand that the pyramid scheme is that they all are under one capstone, the all-seeing eye, controlling all different types of brotherhoods. You got street brotherhoods, too. Okay? Everybody coming out now to say they peace, right? I'm just saying, you know, keep your eyes open. Okay, don't just roll with emotion. Okay, because when it is time, you ain't gonna be able to help out. You'll be behind bars or dead, taking penitentiary chances or cemetery chances. Okay, that's not how revolution advances. The first part of warfare, if you watch the most coldest nation in the world and how they wage war, they first say, we first have to get the hearts and minds of the people. All that's about intelligence. So you have the intelligence operatives out there faking the funk, acting like that they are sincerely trying to make a change, and they realize that some things are going on that's awful strange. Now, I saw a video. I don't know if it's still there or not, but a guy did the same thing they did with Trayvon Martin. Matter of fact, what's the name of it? I'll get you the name of it if I can find my phone. But y'all remember how they looked up Trayvon Martin's information? They're like, wait a minute, nobody ever lived in Florida by this name and all that type of stuff. Well, somebody did the same thing for Mike Brown. I looked at it a couple times because you don't believe everything you see. Okay, I'm not the see and believing type. Okay, but interesting though. Where my phone? Yeah, they had some issues matching identity right. Then, of course, those who know how to look on photos and find the Photoshop halo and different things that denote tampering or usage of Photoshop, they found those things. They found those things, y'all. So again, you know, we don't know how much of this is made up. But I said it from jump that it was made up. And I had one big reason I thought it was made up. Because it was trumped up. Too many people get chumped up and lumped up and don't nobody say a word. So when I saw that happening, it didn't smell right to me from jump. But that video, I'll find a name for y'all as we carry on. We got some other things to look at. So, okay, we spent enough time on that. I do believe that there's only two types of people right now. There's people who overstand that and people that understand that. And that's that. Okay. Another interesting thing, you know, I saw, and to me it all kind of related. It appears, and I say that with breathless baited, it appears that a tribunal council court has busted some big people, including the Pope and the royals. Now, when we say busted, do that mean Queen Elizabeth is going to be sitting up in court in her orange jumpsuit? I think not. But what I really found interesting, see, certain things give me the inkling, you know, get my spidey sense to tingle. Okay, the Holy Spirit said, hold on, look at that again. But what I saw was the person that posted the video. I first saw it from Fiji Time, and when Fiji Time first presented it, it was, you know, heart-wrenching to watch this lady testify, and oh, you know, if this doesn't move you, oh, it's so hard to watch this at first. And I'm not, you know, not to discredit him, you know, people feel how they feel. But then he pulled the video because he said upon further examination and research and looking up the head of the tribunal council, Kevin Annett, he said he had a hard time establishing Kevin's credibility. Well, Kevin himself had said that he was under the gun because of what he had done. Okay, because he actually looked at these powerful individuals and their alleged membership in a child sacrifice cult called the Ninth Circle. Okay, and he said that, well, you know, Kevin Annett said that, you know, this circle has been operating for quite some time, that they busted them, you know, technically, but again, you know, how you gonna bring any of them to justice for real? But the fact that the story even came out, I thought that was dubious, true. But, just playing the tape out, looking down the line, I said, okay, so you find them guilty in a court, in a tribunal court, then what, you gonna go cuff the Pope? Okay? But it was confirmation for things that we already know and understand about the Luciferian elite. Now, they also said that the Vatican assassins, the Holy Alliance, the Jesuit Black Ops crew, was trying to put a stop to it. So certain things could have been scrubbed from the internet, I would gather, with my meager mentality. So I would not expect to find, as if the internet is not controlled. It's the internet, the web. Okay? Nets for catching fish and webs for catching flies. But if you don't see no paper trail, don't be surprised. Certain things not going to have a paper trail. I've had some people make that type of statement to me before about, well, certain things you can find on here, and certain things you can't. You remember when we looked at Jordan, his connection to funding prisons, and I mean, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I have decent research skills, and I couldn't find any dead set head-on connection. Well, yes, Michael Jordan is connected to this financial firm, and they fund independent jails. Couldn't find that. It made sense that I couldn't find it. So after a certain point, you have to just be able to deduce things. Okay, your deductive reasoning, and more than that, your discernment. Okay, because your deductive reasoning will fail you. Your left brain is only going to take you so far. And they're going to teach you everything. Some things you have to get from, like my grandma used to say, you pick up on it. Some things you got to be able to pick up on. Okay, like I can pick up on when certain people on YouTube is tripping, man. They tripping. And I'm through with them now. So you've heard me say some different people before that I like. Right now, I'm just about down to, this ain't no diss to nobody specifically. I put an address on it if I so desire. But I watch Black Child. About the roots. And I watch Scariest Movie Ever. And KJ's other channel. And I mean, I see some random stuff from different people because, again, misinformation can't work without some truth. So they'll shovel some truth in there. And then one guy in particular right now, what he doing is this. They gave him some heavyweight truth, or he discovered some heavyweight truth. I don't know how it came across, only speculating, but it was sure enough truth. Then people caught on to it. So now they said, well, fool. I bet you they called him a fool and smacked him upside his head. This what you gonna do now. You're gonna just keep saying crazy stuff that ain't true, so that what you said that was true would be discounted, dismissed. That's disinformation 101. Even in chess, which is a more sophisticated game than checkers, each piece can only do certain things. You can only make so many different type of moves. So once you see the moves being made, the result of the moves, it's only certain possibilities. But when you see it's only certain possibilities and you realize the end game of chess, you realize what they're trying to do, what piece they're trying to take, by what move they're trying to make. Okay? You can easily tell who real and who fake. Alright? Now I make mistakes. I'm a flawed man. Okay? I make a great many mistakes. I don't make too many mistakes on here though. Make that clear. But I mean, just as a man, I make mistakes. But it's different when you make a mistake versus when you purposefully tell people something that you know is some BS. Okay? You won't find me doing that. I ain't did it in that time. And to my new nephew who asked about, getting some of this stuff, man, get this stuff up off here. Make copies, put them in the barber shop, slang them. Do what you want to do. I have no I'm not the popo. Do what you want to do. But be wise and civilized. But I don't know how much longer they're gonna let this go on. YouTube is it's a net. They're trying to see who knows what and who they could get. Big shout out to Milwaukee Pudge. And Nixter, my main man. And to teacher, I will be doing some. I'm going to try to get down to doing some Skyping today. I really had another video that I wanted to do. Aside from this, I still got a lot of things I wanted to cover in the news. We have 41 minutes now. There's only so much time in a day, but I wanted to give you all this. You can look at it for yourself. Now, I'm not saying, I didn't go behind the man and do the work looking for Mike Brown's authenticity. Okay, so I'm saying that off the rip. I did not go behind him and check it out. But you look at it for yourself, maybe you'll feel so inclined. I'm already sold. I know what's being designed. But the name of it was, and looks like I recognize actors in there. I ain't gonna talk too much about it. But I saw a video, it was called Ferguson Killing, Real Death or Stage Agitation Propaganda. Alright? Forget who it's by, but you type that in, you'll see. Okay. Alright, more foolishness in the Middle East. Foolishness. Remember, this is contrived stuff. When the media tell you, the media's job is not to make you smarter, give you knowledge. It's got the same job as college. It's to indoctrinate you. Okay? That's why that big head fool always talking about, oh, my wisdom, because of my wisdom. He break down some good stuff. He break down some words. I can tell he's watched a couple of my videos. It's alright, don't give me no credit. I know how you probably feel. But you'll find people indoctrinating you as they've been indoctrinated too. I wasn't indoctrinated. I wasn't raised in church. Okay, I only found out the truth about the Bible through practical application in an instance in which I didn't even mean to apply it. I've told you that story. Alright? So to the Most High give all glory. Mandatory. Because he came and got me from out of my foolishness. I was in the same foolishness as that fool. Every time you look around, he's trying to tell you something about God and Christianity ain't real. How do you know? Until you tested it out. You ain't tested out nothing. You seem like you stay locked up in your room with blueprints and plans on how to design your robot woman. Have mercy. You sound like you don't have a damn lady friend. Because my wisdom and my knowledge. Sometimes somebody bragging on anything, you can doubt it. And I think I started to say this before, but I don't think I finished it. We're also going to look at, as we get back into dealing with healing and spiritual war, we're going to look at the role that little ones can play. All right, and this came by way of Monet. Great job, baby sis. You keep doing your thing. Take your knowledge, excel in school. We need people in various areas. Okay? We need people in various areas until they shut this thing down. That's the end result. Okay? This was built to collapse. Okay? Build and destroy. Okay? Order out of chaos. They're creating the chaos now. It hasn't escalated, and the incrementalizing, they're doing things a little bit at a time. That's over. They're gonna start dropping boulders. Boom, boom, boom. I see it. It's easy to see. But the news lies to you, the news lies to me, and one of the things that you can count on is false names in the stories. Okay? Numerology and the numbers involved. Okay? Certain key numbers, certain key words. Okay? I've known a lot of people from a lot of walks of life. Some last names I ain't never heard. I'm in the place that they say got the second highest concentration of Muslims next to the Middle East. I've heard a lot of Muslim names, okay? And brothers and sisters in Islam, as far as black folks in Islam, and to all sorts of Middle Eastern people. Okay. Here, when you go to the store, I know some places when you go to the store, you're gonna deal with a Korean. Okay. Or in some places, you're gonna deal with a person from India. Here, when you go to the store, you're gonna deal with somebody from the Middle East. Okay. And when I was a young guy growing up, they were straight from over there. Sometimes they have a turban on and everything. They didn't know the language well. Now, it's their kids that got the stoves. And they dressing in our clothes. They got their beards trimmed up like us, the fades. What's up, my man? You know. And they know how to kick it. And they love to get them a black lottery girl back there behind the machine. Have mercy. Things unseen. But anyway, I digress. I really did. But I look at the ISIS thing. ISIS was so cold-blooded that they would use the name of the mother goddess, the Egyptian name for the mother goddess, because they also revere her as Diana. That's one reason why they would make you sick with news about Princess Diana. And yes, sometimes people that's involved in these things, they don't like what goes on, and they want to defect. Okay? But they'll point to a feminine representation of Lucifer to throw off his direct connect. Okay? Because again, the greatest trick he ever pulled was to make the world believe that he does not exist. Okay? And this channel is for bringing believers closer to truthers, and truthers closer to believers. Okay? And letting us be able to kick it without the input of all of these deceivers portraying leaders. Okay? So if you're not one or the other, you're in the wrong place. And you done watched me for too long. Okay? Don't grow accustomed to my face. I'm change some things too. Please believe it. Got to. And to make some adjustments. We got a lot of new people here. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I'm gonna make some adjustments. You know, all things by the will and guidance of the Most High. Okay? But ISIS and the U.S. now being actively involved militarily again in Iraq. Then you have Israel, or ISIS, Ra, and El, Israel, and Hamas, steady going back and forth, both of them being controlled by the same singular entity, because they're playing out a new world order agenda. So if you're playing out an agenda, then that means that there's somebody who is telling this side, do this. Okay, hold on. All right, now y'all do that. Okay? There's a Vince McMahon to this WWE good guy and bad guy thing. And for y'all that prefer the good guys is Israel and the bad guys is Hamas, you as goofy as you could be. Don't even talk to me. Okay? There's a spiritual Israel. There was a physical Israel. It didn't look like that. It's proven. It's all through the book. We've talked about this a number of times. People on my channel don't have any problem with it. I've had whole videos dedicated to it. So I don't cater to nobody to honor me for that. Okay? I do the will of the Most High, and the Creator will step on anybody's toes equally. Okay? Equal opportunity to get your toes stepped on. But again, we don't deal with pride. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. Can you tell the truth and not have pride about it? Don't have pride about nothing. Be glad. I'm glad I descend from such a beautiful line. I'm glad of it. Not proud of it though. Because I said, well, what happened? Where did all of the royalty go? And we know. Okay? Disobeyed and got cursed for show. Okay? So we talked about that on a number of videos. We don't have to revisit that. But when you see these so-called 2 different sides at war, you got to understand there's so much more. There's an end game. And I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Look at Steve Jackson's 1996 Illuminati card game. People have the whole card thing. I believe my sister Precious put it up, a link. People have the whole list of the cards. Sit there while you eat some chip and dip and look at each card. You should be eating broccoli sticks and dip. Like I can talk. Y'all don't let me get too big. I'm mad at all of you. My head look like a watermelon. But that's right. I know it. Push-ups. Do some push-aways. Push away from the table. But everything in divine order. I know what it's about. I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna get it together. No mercy. All right. Israel talk about the Iron Dome. Iron Dome missile defense. Got the Iron Dome right here. My head is too hard. Just need to. Y'all pray for me. Okay, the beheading ritual as we enter into a new astrological sign. Some people wonder why there's always this focus on the time from about the, especially in the late summer up to spring. You'll find it from about the 20th to the 23rd. Then earlier from spring to about May or June. Yeah, about June. You'll find it from the 18th to about the 22nd. That's called the cusp in astrology. And these people are very into astrotheology. They do have a God. Okay? And they believe that their God fell from heaven. And that's why they named those planets up there, or what we're told are planets, and those stars up there, what we're told are stars. I believe that is an abyss. You have the abyss below, okay, in the fiery mantle, below the fiery mantle, in the fiery caverns of the earth, you have an abyss. In the depth of the sea, you have an abyss. And in the regions of outer space, you have an abyss. That's why so much science fiction is based on outer space. Okay, there's a demonic dynamic to that, and I was a huge science fiction fan. I still watch a movie if it moved me, and My favorites was science fiction and horror and action. I like my action films too. I love Jackie Chan movies and Ip Man. Ip Man is the truth. But of course, Bruce Lee, when I was coming up, he was the man. He still is the man. But I sure digressed again, didn't I? But yes, we're in the cusp now. We're coming out of one sign of the times, Genesis 1 and 14, and going into another. We're coming out of Leo. So people that's born from now until, when a person is on the cusp, they kind of take a choice of what they want to be. I know somebody born July 22nd. They don't say they are Leo. Okay, they say they are Cancer. Okay, they grew up in the 70s and maybe, they wanted to identify with Cancer. But that's what you end up doing. You take whatever they say about your sign and you cling to it. And then that spirit that's attached to it will cling to you. Why so many of the signs is named after beings, such as an Aries. But we've come out of Leo and we're going into Virgo. At one time, the ancients, you had star lore of ancient times, and then you have the modern astrological clock, I like to call it, which begins, with one being Aries in the modern time, and of course 12 being Pisces. Okay? But in the ancient time, one was Virgo. In some ancient cultures, you'll find the one was Virgo and the 12 was Leo. Start with the Virgin and end with the Lion. So this is a beginning time. And this was part of why they chose the sign of Virgo to do 9/11. So you can bet your bottom dollar that they ain't through doing whatever they wanted to do for the big ritual that started as Leo began, the Grand Climax ritual. Okay? So the Grand Climax ritual really not supposed to end until sometime later on in September, around that time. Okay, September 11th this year. We say that every year. That's not a broad or prophetic prediction that isn't likely. But they're gonna do something. We believe they're gonna do something. And when Siri talked about the gates of hell opening, again, Precious, I believe, reminded us of this. Siri, or Osiris, or Iris, Good Eye, Turn Off TV, Siri, and yet, thank you to Turn Off handling that. I don't feel like capping on everybody all the time. Some things I just gotta let them go. There's too many people now. You get greater, you get haters. But and I ain't nobody, I ain't nowhere. But Siri also gave a closing date. Alright? And that closing date was also encompassing the September 11th anniversary. Okay? So watch out what happens. Because when they do their ceremonies, they do like you do. For your birthday. Your birthday fall on Saturday. You start partying on Thursday. And you ain't through till you got to go back to work Monday. Have mercy. And they do a similar thing. Although something may fall on a particular date, or they may say, well, this is the beginning and this is the end. Okay? A little bit before the beginning and a little bit after the end, they still getting it in. And that's how they do. All right, the next one I want to do, I prepare the one on the children, because that's essential. That's going to take me a minute to prepare. Baby Sis gave some excellent notes, worthy of, to me a college level English report. Very well done. Very well done. And so I'm going to go through that, and maybe I'll just read it to y'all. But we'll see how the Lord leads on that. But add my little bits and pieces, and put that together first. But I got something interesting that I'm gonna share with y'all too, that I think is timely, because something else is gonna happen from the Ferguson thing too. I believe people gonna get appeased. This ain't just gonna be like martial law forever and it's over. No, they gotta make it look like it's been defeated. They're gonna make it look like it's been defeated, and they might even kick down reparations, y'all. But I'm gonna talk about that on the next video. Because see, you gotta remember how they plan go and how revelation go, and then you gotta look at what they doing and be able to discern. Okay, so things supposed to go this way. Okay, this is likely the next scenario situation. Or if they do this, they'll be able to accomplish this part of their goal that we know they must get done. Okay, when they say peace and security, see, to have a hero come in and save the day, you gotta first have a melee. Okay, so I believe a hero gonna come in and save the day, and I believe, let me express, I believe it's gonna be a chance to get his hookup back up. Okay, because we didn't feel out of love with him. I wasn't never in love with him no way. But brothers and sisters starting to feel some type of way about your boy. But I believe, I've been wrong about things. I believe that that's what's up their sleeve. Okay, we're gonna see what happens though. But I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more in the next video. I just want to look at a few things. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. That's cool. Okay, we're already. I said I was gonna shorten the videos. That's not very short, but maybe I'll jam some of this other stuff, because I got a lot more notes on different things that happen in the news. But I just wanted to really holler at y'all. I missed you, and I'm glad to be back. We'll wrap some more probably later on today. Okay, I'm gonna look at some comments and questions and upload this, and should be another one on the way. So without further ado, I just want to thank you and especially you. Peace.